going to talk about the War of 1812, which you
Yes.
saw on, I think it was on Freevee,
I actually
Amazon's
watched it
Free.
on Freevee, yeah, because I was doing with the stick, and I just thought, oh, there's a free season. But I see it's also on most of the streaming platforms. It's actually on most of the streaming platforms, I think. So you could watch it with it. The thing is with Freevee, it's quite interesting because you
Yo,
do
this is
get
this is Amazon. It's kind of like it's a version of Amazon, but
Amazon
has ads.
ads. Yes,
Everything on
yes,
it is free. I don't think you don't even have to have an account to watch it,
no,
but it just has ads. So
yes,
yeah.
and it says and it lets you know when they're coming up. Yeah. So this, I'm really into my documentaries, especially anything to do with military history. So
Yeah.
this one was a 4-part documentary about the War of 1812, and it's a war that isn't really covered much in a lot of places. It was where we went to war with the USA, and we basically it was where America decided, well, things were going on in Europe with Napoleon and what have you. It was decided, the Americans decided, oh, this might be an ideal opportunity to find some sort of excuses to invade Canada, and maybe we can take part of Canada. So the excuses they used were British ships were stopping American ships and taking the soldiers, taking the sailors on and impressing them, and also the Indians were up. The Indians up in the we should call them the First Nation. The 1st Nation were up in Canada, and so the Americans decided they might take advantage of the turmoil that was gone in Europe and make a war and then try and make a little excursion or a couple of excursions into Canada. So basically, it's a documentary of the battles, and the first couple is about America's, because I don't know huge amounts about this war. I know we burnt the White House. I know we
Yeah.
we burnt the White House. That's right. So the beginning of the war was where Americans made incursions into Canada, and basically it was an alliance of Canadians and some British soldiers and a confederation of the First Nation tribes under someone called Tecumseh. So, and they repelled the American attacks, and it was a bit forward and a bit backwards. And so the first two sort of concentrate on the start. The second episode is about some of the battles about Canada. And then as it gets towards the end, obviously the Napoleon sort of finished doing his things in Europe, and this and which frees up British troops to come across. Hence, that's when the White House got burnt. And
Yeah.
it was decided in the end, the Treaty of Ghent, which is quite knowledgeable. But of course, it wasn't known in the States until about 12 days afterwards. So there was a big battle. There's the big Battle of New Orleans, which is famously, is one of the American victories. And so it's like, it's always celebrated. Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes, Andrew Jackson, all that. So, and it was cut with, they would have like the people narrating like diaries of so the characters would be people dressed up, and they'd say, yes, well, I was, I could see all my friends were being so so it's interspersed with people with what experiences, real life experiences, and then a bit of history. And they showed there was a few blurred out scenes of some of the battles, which were obviously from different movies, which I noticed was probably like Waterloo, but it's all the same period, so it was fair enough. And what's interesting is in this War of 1812, this is when America started to build the decent ships. And you know that famous film Master and Commander?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Russell
That
Crowe,
actually
Paul
takes
Bettany.
place, yes. In the book by Gilman, that is actually the ship that is French in Master and Commander. In the book is actually an American sloop, which are very fast and very shot. They shot the but because it was an American movie, they couldn't have a American ship. So
They could have the American ship beat the bad guy. Yeah.
But anyway, back to the documentary. So you've got, it documents the battles, the people's experiences. You've got a lot of characters, and it explained quite a lot to me. It was really, really informative.
Welcome to Net.
It was really, really informative, and I thought it was excellent. I really, really liked it, because sometimes some of these documentaries can be a bit, especially I think they call them docudramas, don't they? Some of the docudrama type things. It wasn't quite in that vein, but it was
where they reenact stuff. And
yeah,
yeah,
they reenact stuff. So you could see, and obviously they used real reenactors because I mean, reenacting is huge around the world. You know, American Civil War, Napoleonics, the English Civil War with the sealed knot. So obviously, and you quite often find in a lot of these documentaries, they do use the, you know,
well, essentially, it'll be the history buffs because
this is for history buffs. Yes.
Yeah, the people who will go and spend a weekend dressed up like it's part of the American Civil War and or we're the red coats, we're the blue coats, and everything like that, and they'll go and spend a weekend in it's a form of LARPing almost, like live action role play, where they'll go there and they'll do the whole thing, and those people are knowledgeable about their subject. They know it because they live this stuff and they love it. So it makes sense to involve those people.
As I say, I used to do it myself. So if I can remember next time, I'll bring up a picture of me when I was. I've got a few. Yeah, I've got a few pictures. And
okay. Quickly before we get.
Before we
get the star rating. So what scenarios or what battles was it that you reenacted?
Well, I was in a organization called SOSCAN, the Southern Skirmish Society, which was American Civil War.
Oh yeah.
I was Federals or Union, whereas most people wanted to be. It's really funny with these reenactment societies. It's like the Roundheads and Cavaliers. Everybody wants to be a Cavalier because they're all like flashy and showy and nice, and you know, and nobody wanted to be a. So
and let me guess, did the Cavaliers win?
No, they didn't. No.
Oh, no, and everybody wants. Okay, that's
that's the English. We're talking about the English Civil War and the sealed knot. Yeah, no, the Cavaliers were for the Royalists, you know, but they were all the plumes and all the lovely. Now in
good hair.
Yeah, in the American Civil War, the Confederates were all like, you know, they've got. Let's just say they've got the more colourful characters. So
yes,
if someone was reenacting, the Confederate troops would generally outnumber the Federal troops. When in real life, it was totally the other way
around.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and it was, you know, you camp out, you go for a weekend. We even used to do, the last show was a show called Bath, and it was the American Museum in Bath, and an American admiral would come and give you, if you did 25 shows, they'd give you a so yeah, so I'll try and find some photos for you. But yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so star rating, what are we talking?
Okay, I really like this. I thought it was really, really good, really informative. As I say, even sometimes I can get bugged by people saying, you know, where they get like a
talking head.
A mid shot of someone saying, "Well, I remember the time." Do you know what I mean? And it's all the.
I remember Betty, my wife back home, who was waiting for me with her 4 kids, and I would write to her every day saying, "When I get home, we'll build that house."
Yeah. That's it. Yes.
He died. Just so you know, he died.
So yeah, but no, I really enjoyed this. In fact, I binge watched this one because it was that good. So the 4 episodes, yeah. They are about an hour each, but yeah, no, I really like this. 4-star, this one.
Oh, 4-star for the War of 1812.
Yes.
Is that where the 1812 overture comes from?
No, the 1812 is Napoleon's retreat from Moscow. So, and that's, if you hear that, we go bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
They're the cannons firing. So, and that's when 1812 was when Napoleon was basically defeated, and then there was so that freed up. That freed up
the army to go to America.
To go to America and fight the Americans. So that's when the White House got burnt. That's when, you know, we started to do some bad things to the. Whereas before 1812, it had been very much a defensive battle, very much, you know, to stop the Americans taking Canada.
It's like, I'm like, what? You mean historically the English went and did bad things in other bits of the world? What?
Wow, you'd never believe it, would you?
I personally could knock me over the feather.
What? No way.
Way.
No.